So, with The Last of Us Part 2 coming next Friday, I figured it was maybe time for me to take a step back and go back to The Last of Us 1. Because apparently not everyone has played it. And by not everyone, I mean like there's like 10 people in the entire world who haven't played it yet. So I figured I'd recap the story for them a little bit, and we'll talk about whether or not The Last of Us was as good as people remember it. Was it the game that was good, or was it the story that was good? Can you consider a game to be good if it's the story that's great and the gameplay is just nah? Let's get into that. Stick around, we'll find out together. So, we're gonna talk about The Last of Us, and I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis about the story. Keep in mind it's gonna be full of spoilers, so if you haven't played The Last of Us, don't watch this video. The Last of Us follows the story of Joel and Ellie, but before we get into that, the game starts off with Joel and his daughter. And at the beginning of the game, nothing was wrong, it was a normal old world. But turns out there's this infection going around. People are turning into clickers, bloaters, what have you, the equivalent of zombies in this world. So you try to escape where you're living, kind of try to get to safe ground. Joel, his brother Tommy, and Joel's daughter. So towards the end of this beginning section, and a gunman appears. He's like, well, fucking stand back. He's like, dude, we just went through hell, we're not infected, we're good. He's like, well, just give me a second. He's like, what do? He gets orders to kill them. He's like, well, there's a little girl. He's like, just fucking kill them. So he stands there like, I'm gonna have to shoot you now. Joel tries to run away because he knew that was gonna happen. Tried to save him and his daughter, but he couldn't save his daughter. And she dies right then and there. Tommy then comes in, shoots the guy in the head to keep them safe for a bit. And that's how the game starts off. Joel loses his daughter. Now, at the beginning level, fantastic way to start a game. Because it sets up the story, it sets up what's going on in the world, it sets up the world itself, it sets up the characters of Joel, Tommy, and everyone around. It's just a great way to start a game. A fantastic way to start a game. Now, the rest of the game has Joel and Ellie. Follows Joel and Ellie. Ellie is just a random girl who was brought to Joel because they need to get her to the Fireflies because Ellie can't get infected. She was bit long before and she didn't get infected, and they think that they can make a cure out of her. So they want to take her to the Fireflies. The Fireflies are this organization. Now that's the entirety of the game. Along the way you meet these other people, you lose part of your heart while playing this game because the story is heart-wrenching. The thing about this game is it has a great story. Yes, in some ways it is unoriginal in the means of, a zombie thing. It makes up for it with a dynamic relationship between the characters and just dynamic events around the game itself. Now, towards the end of the game, you reach the Fireflies, and turns out that they can make a cure out of Ellie, but the thing is they have to use her brain, meaning they have to kill her. And Joel wasn't ready to lose someone he loved another time, because at the beginning, Joel didn't want Ellie, he didn't consider her as a daughter. He was just, okay, this is an objective I have to go through now. But then, along the way, he couldn't help it. He got attached to her. So he wasn't gonna lose her. He wasn't gonna lose his daughter again. He ends up gunning through the Fireflies and getting Ellie out of there. Ellie asks him later on what happened. He says there are a dozen more like you, there's a dozen more like you, and they couldn't make a cure. They stopped looking for a cure. And she's like, well, swear to me. He's like, oh, I swear. Joel lies. Now, the question at the end of the game was, did Joel save Ellie for Ellie, or did he save Ellie for himself? Which is a great question to ask. We're not going to try to answer it. There isn't a definitive answer. I think both answers are true, but we're not going to get into that today. See, the thing is, as much as an amazing crew and cast and voice actors that you have, and as great as the story is, does it make it a good game? What makes a good game? Well, let's take the extreme cases. Let's say you have fantastic gameplay and a shitty story. Does it make it a good game? Yes. Take Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 had a horseshit story. The gameplay was still a Far Cry game. It was still a fucking Far Cry game. So, would I prefer it over other Far Cries? No. Is it still a good game? Yes, you can get enjoyment out of it. Is it one of the best games ever made? No. Because the story and the gameplay go hand to hand when you're talking about a top tier game. Back to The Last of Us, fantastic story, okay gameplay. Does it make it one of the best games ever made? In my opinion, no. It has one of the best stories in video games, 100%. Some of the best performances in all of video games. I couldn't agree more. But is the game itself one of the best ever made? I wouldn't put it in the top 100, honestly. Personally, I wouldn't. Not because I have anything against the game. I really like the game. I love the game. But the thing about the gameplay is it's there. It's not fantastic gameplay. It's enjoyable. You won't get bored while playing it. You will get enjoyment out of it. And the story is fantastic. To answer the question, is it as good as people say? I don't think so. And I'm not shitting on The Last of Us. I really love The Last of Us. The story itself, put it aside. Put the gameplay aside. The story, the character, the bond that you create yourself with the characters in the story. It is a great experience, but as a game, you have to keep in mind that it is a game. No, it is not one of the best games ever made. So the point that I'm trying to make, and I've repeated myself so many times now, the story and the gameplay go hand in hand. If you have one but not the other, you can't say that you have a fantastic game. To have a top tier game, you have to have both. I can't emphasize enough on how much I really do like The Last of Us game. Like, The Last of Us was great. Left Behind, I watched other people play because I wasn't going to purchase it. Still a good story. Doesn't mean that I hate the game. I really like it. I wouldn't put it personally in the top 100 games ever made. If you're talking story alone, 100%. Top 100 stories of all games. I wouldn't argue with that. But you gotta consider that it is a game. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but it is a game. Gameplay is essential. But again, you have to have both hand in hand, because if you have one and not the other, the average. What I'm trying to say is The Last of Us a good game? Yes. Is it one of the best games ever made? No. Not hating on the game, I love the game so much, but as a game, I have to emphasize, as a game on itself, no, it is not one of the best games ever made. Stories, 100%. Game, not really. So that was this video. I'm prepping for the amount of hate that's gonna shower upon me. But yeah, again, I love the game. I have nothing against the game. This was just answering whether it was as good as people say it is. That's all I'm saying. Let's see what The Last of Us 2 gives us. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. Are you surprised? Didn't think so. We'll see what games comes out of it on June 19th, next Friday. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe if you're liking my content, and the Discord is in the description as always. I will see you guys in the next video, and as always, stay safe. Peace.